Hello and welcome to Loppy Loves Iceland. If you haven't been here before, my name is Lauren, and on this channel I talk about my life as an immigrant living in Iceland. Today we have another episode of interviews with the Innlendingar, and today I am talking to Jess. She is a British French citizen and she is the owner and founder of Iceland's first party princess company. And for those of you who aren't familiar with party princesses, we'll talk about that later in the interview. This was a really nice interview. We had a really good chat and she offers some really interesting points and some different perspectives on life here. I hope you enjoy the interview. I am here with Jess today. Welcome to the show, Jess.
Hi.
Hey.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Jess. I'm from Britain and France, but I've lived in Iceland for the last 5 years, and I have, in that time, become Iceland's first party princess.
Mm-hmm. And so how long have you lived in Iceland for? Oh, yeah, 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
I was here for a little bit before that. I came and I'd had a trial run in 2018. I did an internship here.
Yeah.
And that was the moment I realized I needed to move here. But then I had to go back and finish my degree.
Mm-hmm.
Then May 2020, really recommend that time for flying and moving country.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I got a job and moved here, and that was probably the most chaotic decision I've ever made.
So what was the reason that you moved here? Why did you decide it was where you needed to be?
Okay, so there's the long version, there's the short version. The long version is my life is nothing but a long butterfly effect of dumb stuff that has happened to me.
Same.
Yeah. So when I was 16, I had some key changes or like decisions that were made. The first being my dad dared me to learn Icelandic after it was on a website where it was translating a phrase into a random language, and he pressed randomize, it was Icelandic, and I was really into learning languages at the time, and he's like, oh, you should try learning Icelandic. And I'm like, that sounds fake, but okay. So I've actually been learning Icelandic very on and off since I was about 16. And then at the same time, I was reading a book which was about like Norse mythology, and then I got really invested in that and the Icelandic sagas and the history and the culture and the etymology of everything. So that was like step one.
Yeah.
And then step two was I had the opportunity to do that internship here in 2018, so I took that, and then like being here and just seeing how first like how beautiful everything is, how nice everything is, how what's the right word? Evolved everything is, like the lack of like sexism and stuff.
Yeah. A
Yeah,
nice change.
very nice change. Yeah, France is a little backwards on a lot of that stuff. Yeah, just and the work-life balance. I know people think, oh, France, oh, they're so lazy. No, we're doing the most insane long-hour days. I have had the true French experience, despite only working there for like a year, of taking my employer to court and winning. So, but here, like, I just feel like everything is much more balanced and much more healthy, and yeah. Oh, and it's colder too. That's the main one. I can't believe I nearly forgot. So I'm from like the south of France, so Toulouse, it gets to be like 35, 40 easy in summer and humid, and I do not thrive in these conditions, and neither does my husband. So yeah, no, this is great. I love 15 degrees in the summer.
I completely agree. I also find the summer in the UK too hot for me sometimes as well. So a lot of people here always ask, why would you come here when it's so cold? I'm like, that's one of the reasons, honestly. It's
That's a perk.
Yeah. Exactly.
How hot does it get in the UK these days?
It depends, because sometimes we have like heat waves get more and more common. I mean, a heat wave in the UK is not the same as, mainland Europe, but I'd say like 25 degrees, is
Yeah, okay.
and that's too hot for me for a start.
Too hot for me
Yeah.
too, don't worry. Yeah, I just like I left the UK when I was 11 in 2006. So I was there for, I think it was a 2003 heat wave.
Yeah.
I remember that as a
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
I think I got to like 28 or something.
It's crazy. Like it gets way too hot in these. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's interesting reason actually. I don't think I've ever met anyone with a similar story, which is very unique and it's great. So is that the reason that you still live here, or?
I mean, most of those reasons do like carry over, like the temperature, the work-life balance. Honestly, It's going to sound so silly, but one of the biggest things that's keeping me in Iceland specifically at this point in time is that my husband got an ADHD diagnosis here and
Yeah,
is medicated, and he's a new man who can do a job and
yeah,
stuff which he couldn't do
yeah,
before.
yeah.
And you know, if we move anywhere else, either it'll be a country like France that doesn't believe you can have it if you're over 18, or we just have to go back to the end of the waiting list again. It could be like
Exactly. Yeah,
years,
yeah.
and yeah, that's
The
the more.
medication and yeah, my
Yeah,
boyfriend also, yeah, his
yeah.
medication for ADHD and that would be a nightmare.
You don't have to be neurodivergent to live here, but it helps.
Love it.
So I'm autistic, he's ADHD, and we're doing great.
Hmm. So, do you speak Icelandic? Well, you've been learning it for a long time, I
I've
guess.
been, I've been living for a long time, and yet, it's a lot easier to learn when you're here.
Yeah,
I like to say I do speak Icelandic. I can have basic conversations with this princess stuff. I can talk to the kids and things. I understand basically everything going on. I'm taking classes at the moment as well through my work with a tin can factory. And
yeah,
that's really good. A lot of Icelandic learning has been vibe based or just osmosis, and it's nice to sometimes sit down and learn, oh, there's a rule for that. That's why
yeah.
it does this. Not just when I'm decleansing, it's really just 90% vibes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they're not always right.
No, my grammar is terrible. I just say what I think is right. People understand no matter what. So
That's the main thing. If you get the
yeah,
point
exactly.
across.
This masculine, feminine, neutral. Like I was good at French and Spanish when I was younger.
Mm,
It's long gone because I didn't have anyone to practice with, but so I got used to all the genders in those languages, and
hmm
then Icelandic was just completely different and messed me up. So,
Honestly, so I had to learn French. I speak
yeah,
French. I'm a French
yeah,
citizen and all, and still to this day, it is some things I don't know if it's masculine, I don't know if it's feminine, but in French, it's way easier to bluff. Because like in Icelandic, the whole structure of the sentence would change based on the gender. In
exactly.
French, is it you say is un is masculine, une is
Yeah.
feminine, go un. Is it un? Is it une? Doesn't
Merge it
matter.
a little bit.
Un.
And how is it at the Tin Can Factory? Because I've never studied there, but I heard it's pretty good actually.
I actually I prefer I've tried Mimir before. I found Mimir a bit too scholarly and a bit too
Yeah,
kind of old-fashioned. I like Mimir. It's very casual. I mean, it's also it helps it's at my work, so it's already I don't know. I already know the people there and stuff. There's like some
yeah,
yeah, the
yeah.
ice is broken,
Mhm.
but it's very casual and very I feel like we're sort of leading where we want to go. Like the teacher sort of picks up on what we're lacking and she'll
Yeah,
like focus on that. And whereas I feel like Mimir, like this is the plan, we stick to it and
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. I might try it one day. One
Yeah.
day.
It seems
Um,
good.
yeah, I only went to, there used to be a free school in Reykjavik years ago. It's not there anymore. Called Lingva. And it was just like, I think you did like 8 hours per level. It was very, very condensed. It was still the same.
Damn. Damn, that's
Yeah,
short.
it was paid for by the city of Reykjavik. So I did the first three levels there because it was free.
Yeah.
But that's the only Icelandic school I did. But like, the Tin Can has been one that I just, if I didn't live in Selfoss, it would, I'd be going there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It must be rough. I mean, I'm only in Adabar, which is like the east edge of Reykjavik. Like out
Yeah.
my window right now, I can sort of see like the edge of the city. People seem to treat that like it's the end of the universe. I dread to think what it's like living in Selfoss or somewhere.
People in Hveragadi, which is just like 10 minutes closer to Reykjavik.
Yeah. Like,
Also,
and
I've had
snobs.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They're all like, well, we're like on the outskirts, like we're like
Practically a suburb.
some people, yeah, yeah. I've literally had people tell me that, like, we're basically a suburb of Reykjavik, and I'm like, how are you any different? You're just like, if anything, you're a smaller town and probably feel more rural than Selfos.
Honestly, yeah, it does. I always forget which order they come in when I'm driving that
Yeah,
way. I'm like, oh, Craigie's first. I
yeah.
always forget that.
Oh, yeah. So, what do you miss the most about home?
Um,
Or where do you consider home, actually? France or
more France. There was like things I missed because the UK, honestly, it's been nearly 20 years since I was there.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
the things I mostly miss from the UK is chocolate. And so like I looked after my friend's pet hamster while I went on vacation to the UK and they brought back a load of crunchies and flakes. And cream eggs. So that's me sorted, really. Um, France, it's the wine, it's the cheese, it's the meat, it's the bread. It's just all of the food.
hmm, hmm.
God, I miss the food. Yeah, the things I would do for like a camembert at this point in my life. Sad.
When I used to live in the city, I had some French friends, and I used to hang out with a lot of the French community in
Mm.
Reykjavik. And yeah, every so often, like if a parent or a relative came, they would like smuggle a suitcase full of these, things that you weren't allowed to have, like cheese.
Geez,
Just
salamis
everything,
and
yeah,
stuff.
from
Yeah.
France. Just smuggle it over to have a big party.
And the amount, if we have friends coming, we're like, oh, we should bring back some wine. Oh, we'll just get you something reasonable. From like, right, no, get us the good stuff
Good.
because here it's 3 times the price.
Yes.
So we'll give you 80 euros for one bottle, and that's a deal.
Mhm.
God, yeah, yeah, that's the main thing.
Food.
Food.
Relatable. So, what do you enjoy the most about living in Iceland then?
Enjoy. That's a. I mean, I sort of like everything, but I wouldn't say like I have one thing I enjoy. I
Yeah,
just kind of like.
in
I just like
general.
the way everything works, the way
Hmm.
everything happens.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
enjoy the vibe.
Enjoy the vibe. Yeah.
Oh, I enjoy the pools actually.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite pool?
Yeah, Dalslake.
Dallas? I've never been to that one. Where is it?
It's near the Grava
Oh,
Holt or Grava Vogger? I
yeah.
forget which one. That way.
Yeah.
And it's like built into the library. The first time I went there, we got very confused because you have to walk through the library to get to the pool.
Yeah.
But it's really modern and shiny and nice and kind of usually quiet as well, which is
Ooh,
nice. Yeah.
try that one at some
The
point.
sauna's really good there. I
Yeah,
quite like it.
try it at some point. I went once to Lake,
Yeah. I
and
know
then
we're right next to it, but
yeah,
I don't know, it's just
I
not
really
it's not the
liked it.
same.
Yeah, I only went there once, and then I used to live when I was in the capital. I was living on Hammerborg, so we had Lake. It was like right next to my apartment. Never
Nice.
once went there because I didn't know it was there.
It is. Yeah, I went there the other day for some reason, and I was also like, "Oh, like this is a
Just,
pool."
yeah, yeah. I lived there for 9 months, literally like 5, 10 minute walk from it, and I'd had no idea until I moved to Zelfos. Then, yeah, I think I went past it on the bus one day or something, and I was like, I could have been here the whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't been to the pool in a while. That's on my list to do soon.
yeah, same. The weather hasn't been super favorable
No,
lately.
exactly. So, is there anything that you'd like to see in Iceland? Like things that we don't already have here? It could be
So I
infrastructure.
know, I know this comes up in all of the other videos that I've seen, but it is functioning public transport.
Yes. Yes.
You don't have any other opinions. That's a big thing that's missing for me.
I should just send all these like interviews to the government. Like, look, this is what the people want. Like,
I filled out some survey about it the other day. I don't know if that'll do
okay,
anything, but
yeah.
yeah, maybe Borgalina. Our in-house joke is like, "Oh, Borgalina will solve
Yeah.
this."
How, like, I saw the plans for this a long time ago. Is there any
Yeah.
progress being made? Because I don't get into the city often. So,
Now they want to build a tunnel, like near
oh,
Skavan for some reason. This is somehow
yes.
connected to it. I don't know why.
Interesting.
That's the
Oh,
last I heard. I thought it when so I only started like hearing about it in like maybe 2022, 2023. I was
yeah,
like, I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
it was modern. But no, I was talking to a friend of mine. Apparently they've been going on about
Very,
this for like 10 years at
yeah,
least.
really, really long time.
Yeah.
Every so
And
often I see like a
when
news
we
article.
when we very first heard about it, we also like because the translation was kind of wonky and our Icelandic wasn't very good, we thought it was a train. And we were super
Yeah.
or tram, and we were so excited. Oh, a
Mhm.
tram, a train. No, it's just buses.
Hopefully better running ones. Or better schedule.
Oh God, yeah, currently, so if I want to go from my house to my work, it takes me 15 minutes to drive there. If I wanted to take the bus, it would take me an hour and a half if I make every single connection,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
a big if.
A nightmare. A nightmare because yeah, and then sometimes the driver won't stop or there's all
Oh
kinds of
God, so
issues.
many times. The bus doesn't exist. The amount of buses that simply did not exist.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Recently my car was in the shop, like dumpsters and the windshield wipers were broken, and I had to take the bus everywhere, and like this, it drives you mad.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason we had this car is when we first moved here, when we actually moved in, we lived in an Airbnb for a bit, then we moved into this apartment, and we
Yeah.
hired a car for like a week just to move our stuff, and we're like, wow, this is actually game changing. So as we handed it back the hire car, we went to like a car dealership, and we had our savings, which was about 3,000 euros, and
Yeah.
just bought like the best car we could for that money.
But that one
And
will do anything.
it'll do. It's still running, like and touch wood and
Yeah.
such. But yeah, we've paid for it probably 4 times over in
Yeah.
repairs.
Yeah, I only got my driving license almost 3 years ago. Yeah. Um, Still hardly drive anywhere, but I don't have to in Selfos, that's the thing, because it's like so walkable here. But
Oh.
I but yeah, when I go to Reykjavik, I'm okay in the car, going over Headless Headey, like towards Reykjavik, if I have someone with me.
Yeah,
But
got that
I
bit of
still,
road.
yeah, everyone hates the road. I
We
don't
don't like
like it
Hot
either, but
Wheels.
like I'm more comfortable doing that than driving within Reykjavik myself.
I'm not proud of the person I am when I'm driving through Reykjavik. I scare my husband a bit. I drive quite angry, but I get there on time. So
Oh, which is a rare thing. So, so what do you wish that you'd known before moving here, if
yeah,
anything?
I think it's more like known, but it's more like realized what it means to be properly an island and how things will disappear and things will be out of stock and yeah, that we hoard the teas that they have in bonus, like the fruit teas. We have like a stash of them because sometimes there's a flavor we like in and sometimes there isn't.
I have
So
a whole
since there
tea
is,
cupboard, like just all different kinds of blends and things.
yeah, we could open a tea shop, but we won't because that's our tea.
It's not for sharing.
It's not for sharing.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
just how far away everything is. Every time if you want to go on vacation, like you have to take the plane.
Yeah.
That's staying here, and
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah,
Very isolating sometimes, and
a
yeah,
bit, yeah.
yeah. I feel a bit like I get like cabin fever sometimes, especially like
Kind of. I usually solve it by just like driving somewhere else within Iceland. That still
yeah.
works for now. How
Hmm.
long have you been here?
Almost 8 years.
Okay, so maybe does it start wearing off maybe after a while?
I don't know. I don't really travel around in Iceland very much, to be fair. I think I did more a few years ago.
Mm.
Um yeah, I tend to if I want to go somewhere, I like to go to like West Iceland. I really like it, like Borgarnes, Bifrost kind of way.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Um
my
yeah,
go-to as well.
yeah. And my boyfriend, he always says that he wants to drive east, but east is just further east
Right.
in South Iceland, like to Vik or something, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, I've only ever been like around the ring road once. So that was the only
Yeah.
time I've ever been to East Iceland, like actual East Iceland. And Akureyri, I've only been there 2 times, 3 times maybe.
Mm.
The whole time, yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, same actually. We don't really go far.
Yeah.
Or we'd have like different goals. Like, we've done the ring road once, and I went to
Yeah.
Akureyri on like a separate thing.
Yeah.
And like last summer we did a little bit of the West Fjord, we need to go back. And then summer before that we did Snæfellsnes and Vestmannaeyjar. So we sort of do
Mhm.
like a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to go back to Vestmannaeyjar. I only went there once for a day trip. And then the Westfjords, this was when I moved here, that was my goal that summer. I was like, I'm going to the Westfjords because that's the place that I wanted to go to. It's been
Hmm.
8 years and that's the only region I haven't been to in Iceland.
It's like the
Maybe this
hardest
summer.
one to like get
It
to.
is. It's really awkward to get there.
Even like last summer we just did like Holmavik, which is really just like the part of the West Fjords that's still kind of
Yeah.
touching the main
Yeah.
oval of Iceland.
Mhm.
Yeah, we didn't get to like Ísafjörður or
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. I keep thinking like there's a. Have you seen the Icelandic program that they have there in the autumn? That's
oh,
it's
the
like
studying program, you mean?
yeah for like
I've
2 weeks or
I've
something.
seen ads for it, yeah.
Yeah, that's like every year I'm kind of like yeah I'm gonna do that this year, you know, and go and actually see the West Fjords as well. And, you know,
Yeah.
never
Maybe
manifest.
next year.
Maybe next year, yeah, for the next 20 years or something.
It's fine. Got
Yeah,
time.
eventually. So, do you feel that you're able to reach your full potential professionally in Iceland?
I actually do.
Yeah,
On two counts. On that, I so my background is very like programming tech stuff, and I have managed to get a job in that field here,
yeah.
and even take like a direction in that job I wouldn't have been able to do in France because in France when you study for one thing, you can do that one thing and nothing else.
Yeah.
Here there's a lot more flexibility around that, so I've sort of like taken a little bit of a detour off my main path, which I'm enjoying a lot more. And getting paid more for it, which is even better.
Mhm.
Uh, and on the other hand, there's also the entrepreneur side, where, again, in France, it is very hard to be an entrepreneur, and like, if you, like basically if you fail, like you lose everything, which kind of sucks. Whereas here, it's the other end of the spectrum. I'd say it's maybe a bit too easy, but I'm not going to complain. Um, yeah, so like this whole princess thing, I would first of all, I wouldn't have done it in France for like the bureaucracy reasons of it, but also the people reasons. I really feel like if I did this in France, I would be sexually harassed a lot
Yeah.
doing that. Whereas here, it even in situations where I was like, oh, I'm going to be harassed, and I just sort of made peace with it. It didn't happen, and I'm
Mhm.
very pleasantly surprised every time.
So what do you actually do like as your profession, if you don't mind me asking?
My main job is I'm a data analyst.
Hmm.
We make machines that process food.
Okay, okay.
It's really hard to put it in one line. So basically, I make like graphs and charts that show the people who have like machines, like how many, I don't know, pieces of fish they're slicing per hour, and if the machine's like running smoothly or not, kind of thing. Which seems kind of maybe boring on the surface, but it's actually very interesting once you get into it.
I can imagine. Hmm.
I just like data and like playing with data, making graphs. I was doing that for fun anyway, so I might as well get paid for it.
Exactly. Exactly. Do what you love. So,
Exactly.
so what's your favorite Icelandic word, if you have one?
My favorite Icelandic word is Ísbíltúr,
Oh, I
and I
like
like it
it.
because
So,
it's just
yeah,
so
just
specific.
going to get ice cream.
Yes. First of all, the fact they would need a word to describe this because it happens so often. Brilliant.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
notes. I love the ice cream culture here. Like
Yes.
in France, you can't get an ice cream like outside of summer, basically. And if you do
No.
want one, people think you're crazy. Here, it's totally normal and it's great.
Yes. I always said the winter is the perfect weather to get ice cream because
It
it's cold
doesn't matter.
anyway. So yeah, exactly. So I love it
Yeah.
too. Yeah. Do you have a favorite ice cream shop?
Scoop.
That's my favorite in the capital as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the basic bitch answer, but I'm right.
It is.
So
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's a really good one. Hmm. So that's the end of the questions. Is
mhm.
there anything else that you'd like to add that we haven't spoken about already?
I don't think so. We kind of covered everything.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
fine. Hmm. So I have one more surprise question that the last guest left for you.
Okay.
A good one. What's the most challenging thing that you needed to adjust to in your life in Iceland?
Hmm. I'm gonna say probably the language.
Oh,
Either the
yeah.
language or the job market.
The job market, that's, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, not so much for myself, but for my husband, who's like had a more bumpy ride, let's say, in the job market, learning like what works in like Europe and France doesn't work here, and everything got to spin everything a little differently, and that kind of thing. I think that's probably the biggest like
Hmm.
unexpected challenge.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I think it is difficult here, isn't it? Like, I think I also had a bit of a culture shock trying to like
Yeah,
navigate the job market here when I came, and yeah, yeah.
yeah. The biggest one for me is like in France, they're very anti putting your picture on your CV because they want to try and
Yeah.
eliminate any kind of biases. Here, it's like it's the absolute opposite. Like you absolutely should be putting your
Yeah.
photo on your CV.
Yeah, in the UK, I think like it was starting to be a thing around about the time, like a few years before I left, maybe. But I had never done it
Mhm.
personally, and I don't know how it is now in the UK actually with the photo of like if it's kind because it was starting to be something, but I don't know if it's kind of expected now or
So it was expected to have a photo on your CV.
yeah, I don't know actually because like it never used to be when I started
Mm.
working, but then like it was people had started putting photos sometimes on their CV like around about the time that I was leaving. So I actually
Mm.
don't know what it's like now in the UK if it is the same. Like, hmm
I'm trying to work out what 8 years ago was now. 2017?
2017, yeah, yeah,
27. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
God, God, the relentless passage of time.
Very long time. Oh yeah. And also I think it's difficult here when you don't know anyone as well. Like when you're new to the country,
Yeah,
not having the connections to
that's true. And we did, I don't know, I'm pretty good at networking somehow. I didn't
Mhm.
expect to be. Mostly with, like through co-workers and then like friends of friends and things like that. I'm just, yeah. My weird lack of inhibition about talking to people really paid off.
So when I came here, I was always very, very shy when I was younger. And I'd got less shy, but I was like 23 when I moved here. So I've got like
Mm.
less shy. Um, but had to learn to be like a lot less shy in Iceland.
Yeah, it sort of gets beaten out of you in a certain kind of way.
Beaten out of you, exactly. You have to put yourself out there and meet people and, and learn to network. 'Cause it was my worst nightmare and it still is sometimes, but I will do
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So that's the end of that question as well.
Mhm.
Where can people find you?
So if you want the princess stuff, I am called Prinsessur.is everywhere.
Hmm.
But I might as well plug the other thing that started the princessing, which was making my own cosplays, which is also very fun, which is
Hmm.
transatlantic crochet, but you can also find me everywhere.
Great. So I'll add all of the links in the description below. And yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about the princess thing, maybe?
I can do. I mean, for the viewers who are from Anglo-Saxon countries, they're probably already familiar with the idea of a party princess. It's somebody who dresses up as absolutely not copyrighted at all princess. She's not Elsa, she's the Snow Queen. It comes to, like, for instance, kids' parties and takes care of the party, like reads stories, sings songs, plays games with the kids. We also do, like, our big thing in Iceland is doing multilingual story times, which we're currently doing across Reykjavik, where we read stories in English, Ukrainian, Spanish, Polish, French, if you want, and do crafts in libraries, which is really good fun. Yeah, and then doing just like Christmas markets, that kind of thing. Just, walking around and chatting to the kids, that kind of stuff. So,
brilliant.
Yeah, if you think I can enhance your events,
Yeah.
no.
We do have quite a lot of viewers in Iceland, so yeah, definitely. Great. So thank you for talking to me today, Jess.
Thanks for having me. And yeah, take care.
And you, thank you. So that's it for the interview. I'll leave all of Jessie's links in the description below, so go and check them out. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.